Welcome. My name is Purnima. Unit 10, The Touch. Sixth Standard Part 1. It is English First Language Part 2. As per 2024-2025 Karnataka State Board Syllabus, Pre-reading task. Listen what your teacher says and answer the questions. Pavitra and Mamata, who are neighbors, observed the Ganesha festival yesterday. Pavitra said to her 6-year-old daughter, Kusuma, don't come near me and stay away from those kadabos. You can't eat them till they are offered to God. Mamta said to her 6-year-old daughter, Suma, don't touch those kadbos here, but you can eat that banana that is over there. A. What did the girls say to each other that evening? The two girls, Kusuma and Suma, likely talked about what they were allowed to eat and what they were forbidden from touching. Kusuma may have expressed frustration or curiosity about why she couldn't go near the kadaboos or eat them, while Suma might have discussed how she was allowed to eat the banana but not touch the sweets meant for the offering. They might have shared their feelings about the rules set by their mothers. B. Kind old woman, also a neighbor, heard them. It said a few words to each woman. What do you think? She said to each woman. The kind old woman, being experienced and wise, might have gently shared her thoughts with both the mothers. To Pavitra, she could have said, it is wonderful that you are teaching your daughter respect for tradition, but perhaps you can also explain why the food must be offered to God first, so she understands and feels included rather than restricted. To Mamata, she may have said, you are balancing tradition with the kindness by offering your child and the choice. Encouraging understanding while maintaining customs is a beautiful way to teach children. 1. When I arrived, I found a father lying on a string cord facing the wall. Here, the woman, the author, arrived to her father's house. Now she got married and she is staying with her husband with her in-laws and husband, her husband's house now. But this is not her house now. But she came to visit her father, who is old aged and he is sick. I had left my slippers outside the threshold, so my footsteps did not give away my presence. So she leave her footstep outside. This is the Indian culture. They leave the Indians live. We leave the footsteps outside. Our footwear outside. That's why the sound of her footsteps didn't come. So her father didn't recognize somebody is coming there. I went right up to the cot and asked, "Are you asleep?" "Who is it?" he asked as he turned on his side. He asked, "Who is it?" He heard some sound and asked. "It's I replied. "Come sit here," he said, continuing to lie stretched out. When he heard me pulling the steel chair and preparing to sit down, he asked, "Why do you want to sit so far away? Come and sit close to me." Here the author is expressing her feelings. See what happens. This is how, at that time, the elders raised the children. They never allow them. They are involved in puja and all and busy with their work for earning money. They never allowed the children sit near to them, touch them, and hug them when they are growing up. But when they become old, they expect children to sit near to them, touch them, and talk to them openly. But you should, parents, as a parents, should do this every day when children are growing. Once the detachment happens, while growing, children expect when they are too young, they expect want to sit on the lap of the parents, touch them, hug them. But when they grow as a distant, maintaining distance from the parents, they become you. It becomes used to it, and When they become old and call them to sit near to them and touch their hand and talk to them, they feel it as strange and they don't know how to handle it. How to handle it. That's why this is how she is expressing, author is expressing her feeling, how they rise to her and they are expecting this opposite behavior from her. This is she's a little bit complexity in her mind. How to cope up with such a situation. Come and sit close to me, he said. He sat up to make a space for me. He made a little space on the bed, showing the place on the cot next to him. Daughter, I sat on the edge of the cot, dropping. Simply sit, she sat on the edge of the cot because she is not used to it. Going nearer to her father. Groping father patted me on my back, and then he felt the place next to him on the cot and said, sit comfortably, Amma. Now he said, come near to him and sit near to him and talk to him. But she is not used to it. She afraid of him. That afraid, that fear about the father. It's a fear or respect. Whatever. This is how she is grown, and in such environment, her father behaved her with a serious expression always. Never talked to her comfortably. Now he is comforting her, and he wants to talk to her freely, openly, and want to touch to her lovingly. He want to talk to her as if she is her his own daughter. They want to talk to like that. Now he want to talk to her like that. I shifted a little, making myself comfortable. He groped in the air in front of him, gripped my hand, held it in both of his hands, and said, I have been looking forward to your visit. Is everyone all right? Now he's asking. He's expecting his daughter to come and visit. Now he is alone. His wife is not there, and he is sitting alone. No work, he's free. At that age, they start expecting all the relatives come and visit them and talk to them because they have enough time, plenty of time, and all the organs are weakened. They can't work, they can't be busy, but they expect the children come and sit near to them and talk to them. Yes, I said softly, because she don't dare to speak to him in a loud voice. This is how the author is raised here. He didn't say anything else and silently stroked my hand because both father and daughter are not close. Even though they are living in the same house, but distance was there. That's why nothing was there to speak to each other. If you keep in touch with the children when they are young and day to day, if you ask them what they are doing, then you have a subject to talk to them. Once, as a teenager, we had to go somewhere in a rickshaw. She is expressing her teenage memory. When she was teenager, going in a rickshaw, only at that time she sit near touching his father. Otherwise, no chance. Though the rickshaw was spacious, I sat huddled at far end. She sat little bit leaving space between the father and her because this is how she was raised because always he is in muddy telling that don't touch me like this. That's why she that is fixed in her mind even at the teenage. That's why it's set at the end. Sit properly, Amma. You will fall off. Father had said at that time. I had hesitated and moved just an inch closer to him because she has a fear that he will scold again her that don't touch me. Didn't know that why he said her don't touch me because he was in doing puja at that time. Anybody cannot touch him. He took a bath and in a muddy. But other times also children think that we should not touch him. We should not touch the father. This is fixed in the children's mind. That's why she is hesitant to sit near to him. Little space she left. That's why you should always tell why we should do this. Children, why you should do this. You should, while making them practice the culture, you should make them understand why we should do this. From the time I learned my first letters of the alphabet, father had kept me at the dance, at a distance. See, from the time. That means when probably she was 2 years old. At that time, she remembered father kept her at a distance in the name of discipline and because of Madi also. His orthodox way of life. Every day he is in puja, involved in puja. That's why he didn't touch his children at that time. But children are not used to touching him. I never had a courage to touch him, but she was willing to touch her father. I had always felt that he was in a state of ritual purity. I was used to slipping into my cocoon. That was she herself made a cocoon of blanket and sleeping into that. So how could I ever think of sitting close to him in a rickshaw? Our bodies touching. Now this child's mind is fixed that should not touch the father. That's why she is little bit far away sitting from him, but her father is not that hard, not that harsh. When the children return from the school, if you embrace them lovingly and speak to them in a friendly way, they open up and chirp like happy birds. This is the author. She is sharing her experience. When they return from the school, your parents should, as a parent should, speak to children and hug them and touch them always because every animal in this world expects a love, to be loved. Everybody likes to be loved. And children expect this from their parents. Always hug them and ask how the day was at the school and ask something about the school, what happened there. In this way, you can talk to them and keep in touch in all the ways. When you grow old, at that time also you have something to speak. You know their friends, you can talk about their friends. Okay, if you have something to speak about the subject you have, if you have living in the same house, if you don't know about their outside lives, then what they will speak to you. This is what the author is telling. Instead, if they are greeted harshly at the threshold with how much did you score in the math, immediately after coming to school, if you ask this, they feel upset and directly go to their room and sit, they don't talk to you on that day. This day-to-day activity, day-to-day routine should be that you should be open to your children first. Then you expect the children to be open to you when you grow old. Or have you brought your report card? They die of fright. Because of the fright, they'll not open up to their parents. I write many such deaths. Author is telling. She write many such deaths. If they are asked the marks, if they have taken less marks, then it is a death and life situation. Over some 20 years, I still haven't got over a difference in defendants they created. This is what, how they raged. They're very strict. Now he's expecting openly sit with him and speak to him and sit beside him, touch him. But this is expected by the child long back, but she didn't get that. Now he is expecting that from his daughter, how he can get that, right? This feeling the author is expressing here. Father is over 80 now. He is now 80 years old. He is retired and even all the organs are weak now. He can't work now. Past the age of recovering. He cannot recover. His sight, even if his eyes were to be operated upon. His eyes vision is also weak now. He cannot recover because of the old age. Though he is otherwise healthy, his poor eyesight has made him weak. He has spent a last 2 years in bed. My husband and I had come to town on hearing that my mother-in-law was not well to spend some time with her. See, this was at that time the culture of the India when the daughter gets married and go to her in-laws house. She belongs to that house. Even to visit her house, mother's house or father's house, she need a permission. And if she can serve mother-in-law and father-in-law, take care of them. She cannot take care of her own parents. This was there, but now little bit liberal now. Society is little bit liberal now. Now she want to take care of her father. She's willing to do that, but she's not allowed to do that. She fear that this is how the atmosphere at that time. Mother-in-law and father-in-law will get upset if every day she go and visit her father. I managed to visit my parents once in a while as they live in the same town. On such visits, I used to spend about half an hour chatting with father. Every day she go when she came to not visit to her father, she came to visit her in-laws because her husband bought her to take care of her mother-in-law and father-in-law. Her mother-in-law is sick, that's why she came here. She cannot come to visit her father as her wish. This was the culture of India at that time. This is how she is expressing her feelings now. To sit close to father is to revive a faint memory of childhood. He is reviving the childhood. He never sat close to her and talked to her like this before when she was a child, when she was expecting this from him. When he took my hand into his hand and stroked it with love, a longing I had felt as a child for such a touch flooded my inner being, and tears welled up in my eyes. I choked, I couldn't speak. What feeling is that? Why she is crying now? She's crying because she longed for this kind of love and touch and affection from her father when she was a child. But now she got it. Okay, now she got it. That's why she cannot control her emotions. Whirlpool of emotions in her. She couldn't speak now. Would he understand that I had once longed for his loving touch? But now, what is the situation is? He is longing for his daughter's love now. Okay, she is not. She is young and she is well settled. She can take care of herself. Now she is not longing for his love because she has her own children and husband and family. But now, father is longing for his daughter's love now. Situation is ulta now. Perhaps all the love and affection that had flowed between us in letters evaporated as his sharp, intense look whenever we came face to face. This is what happened when she was a child. Whenever she affectionately want to go and talk to him, because of his sharp gaze, all when she face him, that will be evaporated. Even in early childhood, I used to avoid him to escape his piercing glance that had hurt like a scorching sun rays. Even the look at your children when they come back from the school with a loving and smiley face. If you are something else in tension and look at them with that tension, they just back back up themselves and they don't talk to you openly. This is a parenting how you should do. Now, though I knew that they had been extinguished, why was I still unable to feel free with him? One day everything cannot be cleared, everything cannot be practiced. Now she is having a practice of living like that, maintaining a distance with his father, not talking to him. But now, immediately, in a one day, because her father is expecting she cannot be free and open as he want. One a day, 40 years experience cannot be changed. Skim through the above paragraphs and answer these questions. How does the father address his daughter now? The father affectionately addresses his daughter as Amma, which is a term of endearment in some Indian languages. B. Say whether the narrator was a teenager or a middle aged. The narrator is middle aged when recounting the present event but reflects on their teenage years in the flashback. What would be the age of the narrator's father? The narrator's father is over 80 years old now. D. How many years had the father spent in bed? Father has spent the last 2 years in bed due to his poor eyesight. E. Which paragraph tells you about two types of parents? Paragraph 4 describes two types of parents, those who greet their children warmly and encourage open communication, and those who focus strictly on academic performance, creating fear and anxiety in their children. 7. The first time I visited him in his illness, I had noticed bugs on the cot. I had picked up a couple of them and silently crushed them under my foot because she is caring about her father. Later, my husband noticed a bug on our bed and had been upset. This is one more situation and turmoil that is created in her mind. Now they think that her father is bed is dirty, and if she goes and visit him and sit on his bed, they don't think her husband is also not thinking about all these emotions what she had experienced with her father. He also loves her father. Okay, her father loves her. If she want to sit near her father, her husband is now denying that. If you go and sit on the bed, and those bed bugs will come to our house. Don't sit on the bed. He's telling. Sit on the chair. He's telling. This much strict rules were there. She or the daughter-in-law of the house should follow. Should not upset the family members of her husband's house. I told him that it had probably crept into my clothes when I had sat on my father's bed. She told the truth what happened, from where the bedbugs come. As I was leaving that day to visit my father again, my husband cautioned me not to sit on my father's bed but to pull up a chair and sit a little away. Now, he warned her. He husband came to visit his parents, okay, take care of them for a few days, but he is prohibiting sitting near to wife's father, wife sitting near his father. He has that authority. He had that authority at that time. This differentiation is there. He can live however he wants, but he restricts his wife's life. Her every move is restricted by her in-laws' house or husband's house. This was the culture of the India when the author was writing this. But nowadays it is changed now. As I pulled my chair away, father asked me to sit closer to him. How could I not? Now her husband filled her head. Okay. Emotionally, psychologically, he told her, sit away from, otherwise bugs will come to our house. Sit away from him, he told. That's why she sat far away, pulling a chair. But her father asked her again, come closer to him, and how, how can she deny? Because she also loves her father. She wants to sit near to him. She cannot deny that. He was not happy until I was almost leaning against him and had his hands in mine until he touched her hands with his hands. Now he is happy. Again, she is sitting on the bed, but in her mind, her husband's instructions are belling. 9. Father had longed for sons all his life, but was now left only his daughters. Now, in those days, right now also, what is that? If two, three daughters are there, they longed for the one more son should be born. This is how this man also gave birth to a son also, but the son is no more now. Now he is longing for daughter's love. He lost his son. At the fag end of his life, he had lost his grown up son, the perpetuator of his name. The continuation of his name has been dropped because his son is not there. He lost his son. That's why he's showing more love towards depending on daughters now. Perhaps that is what destiny means. You expect something in life and happens something in life. When my brother died, I had hesitated to face my father. Some unknown feelings of guilt had held me back. What type of guilt it is? If she was also a man, she could have taken care of him. But now she cannot say that I take care of you, I am there for you. She cannot say that because she don't have a freedom. To sit near him, order of her husband is welling in her, ringing her in her mind now. This is the life of the woman. I had felt like taking him in my arms and reassuring him, saying, don't worry, I'm here. She want to say this to her father that don't worry about it, I'll take care of you. She cannot tell these words to him also. That much freedom she is not having. She is a she can only serve her in-laws and her husband. She is not free to do so. I hesitate even to touch him. That's how I had been raised. This is how she has been raised. Now she didn't dare to touch him. After I chatted with him for a while, he asked me to clip his nails. After some time, he asked to clip his nails because his eyesight is not proper. Asking mother to do it would be as useless as mortar weeping on the shoulder of the drum because her mother is also aged now. That's why she should do. My brothers were not alive to do it, nor were his children around. Not that he couldn't ask my sister in law, but perhaps he wanted me to do something for him. He can ask sister in law. Sister in law means his son's wife. He can ask, but he want his daughter to do that. Some closeness he is expecting from his daughter now. I was elated and did the job carefully because she loves her father. Perhaps father was feeling depressed. He stroked my hand and said, it would be so nice if you moved into this town. He is expecting her daughter to move into this city, but she don't have any freedom to decide. What her husband decides, she should follow. This was the culture at that time. I could stay with you. I looked at him helplessly. A look he couldn't see. I couldn't assure him with the words either. Even for the sake of comfort, she cannot tell these words, I will take care of you. She cannot tell that. Father didn't speak again. He also understood that this is the culture. His wife also faced the same thing, and was silent as he stroked my hand. He is also silent. At that moment, my education, my job, and everything else appeared vain and superficial. I sat for a while before leaving. At this time, she is educated and she is also working, even though at that time, when she was 40 years old, author, this culture was there in India. Even she is educated, she is doing job also. She is getting her own salary, but she cannot spend her own salary as her wish. She cannot give her salary. She cannot take care of her parents. This was restriction like from the in-laws house in India. As I returned in a rickshaw, father's tender touch haunted me. She longed for this love when she was a child. Now she is getting that. What a strange. But she cannot handle that. She cannot accept that. She cannot deny that. She cannot reject that. Right? Mixed feelings are there. Tears welled in my eyes and blurred my view of the road. Little drop of ice are coming from her eyes. Translated by Jayasri Mohanraj. Jayasri Mohanraj translated it from the Telugu. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and save the playlist. Thank you very much. Bye bye.